Amigos de películas, soy Gaby Cam y hoy estoy muy contenta de platicar con la persona que le dio voz a la historia de Shawn Mendes en Netflix, en el documental Shawn Mendes in Wonder, donde lo vamos a seguir a través de la creación de su nuevo disco, Wonder, y muchos momentos de su vida muy íntimos, como su relación con Camila Cabello, su última gira. Grant Singer está con nosotros para hablar sobre esto y todos los videos que ha dirigido con grupos desde Daft Punk, The Weeknd, Ariana Grande e infinidad de artistas
I sing with no tension. Whoa. My voice is strong and healthy. I went through a big phase where I used to write this over and over again.
And, well, I was just, looking at all the things you've done, and I found very interesting the fact that you're directing a documentary on Shawn Mendes' recording of the album and tour, but you never actually worked with him before.
Never, and I actually think that was a good thing, to be honest, because when you make a documentary, or at least with this documentary, it's a very different process than when you make a music video. When you make a music video, you have to almost be a magician, where you're creating a facade, a visual spectacle, and an event, really. And with this documentary, when it's like a portrait of an artist and it's their real life, I try to do the opposite. I try to strip all that away, strip out the facade, the illusion, and really just make something that was like an intimate and honest and sincere portrait. So I wanted to it was a different sort of process than it had been when I'd made music videos in the past.
Is it hard to protect that pure thing that started it all?
You first get on the stage and ego comes rushing in. And it goes, don't mess up. And then about 30 seconds in, you go, oh yeah, I'm just a guy and I love music. Time to surrender.
I've never gotten the chance to meet Shawn, but I have to tell you that when I saw in Wonder, all I could think about was that I always picture him that way. Like his music and everything he does, I just always felt like he was the way he is portrayed in this documentary. And I want to know, what was the greatest thing you discovered about him? What was the most surprising thing you got to know about Shawn Mendes that you probably didn't know before?
Well, when I first met him, I was very struck by his character. For such a young person, he's got a really good head on his shoulders. He's very bright, he's very eloquent, he's very articulate, and he's very genuine. I knew going into this process that if I were to make this film, I'd have to spend a lot of time with him. And if you're going to spend a lot of time with someone, you really want to like them as a person. So I immediately liked him as a person. I thought he was a good guy, and that remains to this day. He is a good person, and I enjoyed my time filming him. But I think the thing that surprises me the most about Shawn is just how wise he is for a young person. I think you hear him talking about his view on the world, his view on life, his view on music. For such a young person, he's really sort of beyond his years. So that definitely struck me.
And a lot of things that he says about being a superhero on stage in this documentary are just like are very moving and very touching. And was there I'm guessing not, but you're gonna tell me this. Was there somehow a script, or was there someone interviewing him maybe and asking him these questions? Because everything feels just very organic and from the heart.
Well, I was interviewing him. I think every time that we had an interview, or really their conversations, I was asking him the questions. No, there wasn't a script. In fact, the stuff that made it into the film are more remnants of conversations. In fact, what I learned making this documentary, I wanted to feel very informal. Well, first of all, when I early in the process, so a lot of the film, I'm in the room with Shawn. It's not just an interview and then cut to archive footage. I'm beside him as he's living his life. So we're witnessing him over the course of this year live his life and experience and through the world in which he lives in. And for that to be possible, I had to make myself invisible. He had to really trust me to be beside him as he's living his life. And through we had a lot of conversations where we were just I kind of removed the the armor of like a documentary filmmaker and subject. It just became about two people in a room, and we would just talk and talk and talk. And a lot of the things that, like you talked about, like that line about him not being a superhero, or those are from just conversations. He just like it just I don't remember what question I asked him, but that certainly wasn't even an answer to the question I asked him. That was just him talking, and then through talking, he just felt comfortable to communicate how he really feels. So I feel like, at least in this documentary, those sound bites that you're referring to just came from him feeling comfortable to tell me those things, you know?
This is a story about a guy growing up. I used to be like, my idols were born legendary. That's just not the truth.
And how was your experience showing him the first cut? Because I can only imagine that it has to be nerve-wracking.
It is, and it's funny because while we were filming, he never asked to see footage, so he didn't know what it looked like. Sometimes, I remember the first day of real filming, we shot on these Sony Venices, which are these beautiful, amazing cameras. That was the VMAs. I think that was the first real block of filming, or the VMA rehearsal rather. And I think at one moment he like looked, oh wow, that looks cool. He saw like what it looked like from my POV. He saw the image. He's like, oh, that's great. But I think that was the extent to really what he saw. He never saw anything for months and months. So yeah, showing him that first couple. First of all, we finished the shooting before the pandemic began. So we were editing during these last 9 months or so. And so I wasn't able to be with him in the room. I think had I been with him, I would be able to answer your question. I think, I don't know. The answer is, I think he called me over FaceTime, if I remember correctly, and was just like, wow, that's, and we did multiple cuts, and because we developed the project, we made the film with Netflix, but I think his reaction was positive. I think it must be very surreal to watch a film about you for the first time. So I can't imagine what he must have felt like, but he definitely was pleased,
So people make their own image on Shawn, and maybe they have a perspective that's not the right one, that maybe they're going to find out through your documentary. Do you think there's something like that?
Maybe, it's hard because we all see the world through our lens. We all see artists through our lens, or whoever. So I don't know. I think this is the portrait that I made, and it's the portrait that I think is an accurate and sincere and honest portrait of who he is. So I don't know if it would change people's minds, but we'll see.
I guess the reason why you're so talented is because you do it from the heart and from the instinct. So thank you so much for your time, Brent. It was amazing meeting you.
I really appreciate it. Great to meet you too. Thank you so much.
How do you get to the end of a very, very intense year
I wonder what it's like to be loved by.
and want to do it all over again?
I wonder
Sounds like your heart.
what it's like to be loved by. Before I close my eyes,
You know what the truth is? You walk up on the stage and you look around
dreaming that you feel it too.
and it feels like a dream.
Like to be loved by.